So you think you got a plan, right? And you go into this thing as a Knicks fan, you go, it's my time. Zion Williamson is mine. It's my time. Phoenix planning how to move around with a point guard. Then the draft lottery drops, and then you get these notions that make your heart drop. When the New Orleans Pelicans were named the number one team, or the team to receive the number one pick in the draft, I hate to say, I had a smile on my face. That's why I don't like doing mock drafts before there's an order, etc. I feel there's no value except if you're naming the best player who fits with the best player fits with teams. And that's the only way I see it possible that it's worthwhile to do a full draft report out. But people love the game, and I guess if I had more time, I would be able to do that. But this is off work, man. We off of work doing this, right? Whether it's after 5, late night, whenever we got time off of work, we're getting this done. And some of those guys have full-time jobs, so great time management for those guys and much respect to them. However, back to the draft. Now you got the Pelicans, the Memphis Grizzlies, and New York with the third slot. And a lot of people are saying, well, this sucks. No Zion. From a marketing perspective, no Zion. But from a basketball perspective, it really works now. Because you now can get, who I think they'll probably get, is R.J. Barrett. Unless there's a trade for the Phoenix Suns. Now, I think the Phoenix Suns have the ability, I'm going to NBA.com right now, have the ability to possibly go into the draft and try to make trades so that they still get a point guard. They could do that. Phoenix Suns can still do that. They have assets. I could see them trying to pull some with the Memphis Grizzlies. And you know why? They would do that for the simple fact they got Mike Conley. Mike Conley's there. So, no matter how great you think your guy is, right? Coming out of the draft and the potential, all that good stuff that we do. You know, we always do this drop thing. Doesn't necessarily mean potential's better than what you have now. Mike Conley is in his last years, on his last legs. However, he's an all-star point guard. Is Ja Morant yet an all-star point guard? Or is this the same hype train I went through when I was younger? Who do we have when I was younger? I don't know, Javaris Critterin, and there's just several guards who are supposed to be the next. Every year in the draft, next year there could be nobody. They're going to say he's the next one. All right, they got to. It's part of the game. It's up to us as fans to see who truly is and who's not. They've been getting better over the years, but way back, oh my God, every year it'll be, oh, he's the next Iverson, he's the next. I'm hearing Ja Morant's the next Russell Westbrook. No, he doesn't look the same. They don't look like the same type player anyhow. So where do you go from here from a Pelicans perspective when you get the number one pick? And I don't think Zion's happy with this landing spot because he with his twin. His longer twin is on the team, Julius Randle, okay, with less athleticism. I would love to see them keep all their guys. I would love to see Pelicans jump in free agency and try to get a Derrick Rose. Go for a run. This is the playoff team now. It's not really a rebuild like the next. This was a near playoff team last year. If it wasn't for the Anthony Davis issues and injuries, possibly in the playoffs. They were in the playoffs the previous year. Great defensive team. Can they get D Rose? Is the question mark. Can they keep Jahlil Okafor at the backup center spot? Can they maybe do I call it a 3-and-killer lineup? Maybe a Zion playing a pseudo 5. Or maybe Anthony Davis playing the 5. Julius Randle at the 4. Pseudo forward, Mr. Zion Williamson. Drew Holiday at the shooting guard. Derrick Rose at the point guard. Be interesting lineup. Not enough shooters. They lost Mirotic, but it'd be interesting lineup. Be something good to see. And they could also add pieces. I'm just thinking about what they have now. Okay. Then you go to the bench that they can solidify. They got Frank Jackson. Again, they got some little pieces that no one's really looking at. That potentially a couple two more moves. Hey man, they're contenders. They're real contenders in the West. They're closer than LeBron is right now with his talent. However, I would say LeBron looks to have more talent on paper, but hey man, the Pelicans are not so far off. Let's jump into number 2, Grizzlies. They need something, right? I mean, they could truly go R.J. Barrett at the number 2 slot. And that's probably their best fit. Their best fit would be R.J. Barrett, without a doubt. A star power to the Grizzlies. Everyone's talking about John Morant. You got to draft John Morant. No, the draft pick that fits with that team. They got Mike Conley. They got Jaren Jackson. Is R.J. Barrett. And R.J. Barrett would have the green freaking light. He would have the green light. He would star with the Memphis Grizzlies. It is a perfect landing ground for Mr. R.J. Barrett if he can get to the Memphis Grizzlies. Right? And then you got the Knicks. I'm just doing fit. Everyone's doubting Dennis Smith Jr. I don't know why. In my mind, Dennis Smith Jr. and John Morant right now are equal. Get off of all this college hype. Let's be real. If Dennis Smith Jr. was playing for Murray State, what would he average? How many dunks would we see? Remember, he played in the ACC. Dennis Smith Jr. in the same spot as John Morant. Well, how many points do you think he was? The only advantage I give to John Morant right now is that he's coming in that 3-point shooting era, while our buddy, Mr. Dennis Smith Jr., is more in that Steve Francis type of mold, 2.0, right? I call him 2.0, but he could be equal, where he's just a leaper, can drive to the lane at will, has good handles, good hezzy moves. John Morant is a bit more of a shooter than I would say Dennis Smith Jr. Let's round out the rest of the list real quick. There's interesting plays. Is there going to be trades? A whole lot. A whole lot. So let's go into what else we see. Number 4 spot, LA Lakers. Wow. What a great pickup landing spot for LA Lakers. Now they have additional margin to make a trade. They can make a trade here. LA Lakers. I mean, incredible. Incredible. Cleveland, my God. This sucks for them. I know they like Jarrett Culver. I know they like all these guys, but this sucks for the Cleveland Cavaliers. I don't care what you tell me. I don't like this slot for them. They needed Barrett. They needed one of the top 3. Somehow, some way, they needed one of the top 3. They did not get that. Now you got all these projects. If I were Cleveland, with all the needs I have, I would trade down and try to get more picks. Trade down and try to get more picks. Okay? Sexton is their point guard. Other than that, it's a big rebuild. I mean, that's all I know there. I like Marquise Chris. I'm just looking at young talent because, the older talent could leave. Kevin Love could leave. I think you got to use him as an asset upon, trade him off, start the rebuild. Phoenix Suns, they probably are hurting the most, and that's who I think will kind of try to make some moves for the Memphis Grizzly range. They're going to have to think about moving somebody. I don't know if it's maybe Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson, maybe a future pick. I don't know what Memphis future picks look like. That's an interesting play. That's an interesting play. Josh Jackson, a pick for John Morant. I don't know if Memphis would do it, but they got pieces. They got pieces that they can throw in there and bring Memphis back to a playoff run. So I think that's what may happen when you look at the Memphis Grizzlies and the Phoenix Suns, who have the 6th slot. Chicago Bulls, number 7. Again, interesting slot. A lot of my favorites are in the 7 to 20 range. Bobo, my favorite out of USC, Kevin Porter Jr. So I think you can get Darius Garland as well as there. You know, you got some really big hitters. I did my draft preview on my top players, Nas Reed. There's several players who could have more of an impact early on than some of these stars in the top three. That's my opinion. What I mean by impact is go to a team that's in the playoff mix and needs to get over the hump, and they'll play significant roles. So I think this is a great opportunity for the Bulls to add on to that. I like Chris Dunn. Could you reach? If it was the Chicago Bulls, could you reach and get Darius Garland? Maybe. Could you reach and get Darius Garland, pair him with Dunn? Maybe have Dunn come off the bench if you've given up on him in that facet. I don't like any of the forwards that these folks keep talking about. Gerald Culver and the kid from Virginia. I don't. They're good players, no doubt. 3-and-D players all day long. This high up in the draft, though, no. Why? Why waste that pick? You want them so bad? Go ahead, give me some more picks, Atlanta. Since Atlanta want, next up, so 7 Chicago Bulls. Atlanta is in a great spot. Bobo, that's your spot. I'm happy they landed there. Bobo to Atlanta. Get him. You'll be so long. I mean, next pick at number 9 is Washington Wizards. They need help. Could they go with Garland here? Could they go with Darius Garland if he's still left open? Where I keep mentioning Darius Garland. I'm just thinking about guys that will possibly still be available. Because they'll get the kid from Texas Tech and they'll get the kid from Virginia. You know how these scouts are. Give me a 3D guy early when I could have got Chris Wilkes from UCLA second round. I'd probably do the same thing as more athletic. Just didn't have the opportunity or wasn't playing in the right system. So, yeah, Darius Garland here to the Washington Wizards. I mean, will he still be there? If scouts are smart, no. Even with the ACL injury, he's a top 5. He's a top 8 pick for me. He should be gone. Next up is Atlanta again via Dallas at number 10. So they got 2 slots. If I were them, I like Kevin Huerter as a starter, but need to push him. I think our buddy, what's the dude's name? The shooting guard, Bazewell, something bad, something with a B. I apologize if I forgot the name. But Atlanta's shooting guard, Kent Bazemore. Kent Bazemore can go to a championship contending team or a team running for the, trying to get into the playoffs. He doesn't need to be in Atlanta rebuild right now. Houston always wanted him. If they didn't utilize Gerald Green this summer, maybe they try to move to get Bazemore. But I like Kevin Porter Jr. even this early. Okay? Kevin Porter Jr., 10th pick to Atlanta. Smartest move for them. Smart move. They can go with Kevin or maybe a Bruno Fernando. Or if you want some post presence, how about a Nas Reed at number 10? How about a skinny DeMarcus Cousins at number 10? Interesting play for them. Number 11, Minnesota. A lot of holes. This is where the 3-and-D guys make sense. But they won't be there. So maybe the kid from Gonzaga. This is way early to get him, but I'm just going best tip for talent available. Maybe Bruno Fernando as a backup center. Again, I think they need help with the shooting guard position. There's nothing left over when the star was born, leaping man, Mr. Zach LaVine. So, hey, who's available at shooting guard at this point? I know I've skipped over Kobe White. I feel he'll go earlier, right? He'll be somewhere. Chicago Bulls will probably get Kobe White, but can Minnesota, if he still starts slipping, does Minnesota say, hey, we're losing Derrick Rose, we need somebody else to come off the bench to provide a punch? There you go. Washington as well at number 9 could possibly go with Kobe White. So that's another interesting play. Charlotte number 12, go with the best available. I don't like their center position and who they have. This is where I think Bruno Fernando fits in perfectly and he'll get a lot of minutes. Paid the big center from Africa big dollars. You know, they have the kid from what's his name? Was it Wisconsin? The stretch four, stretch five center. I think I like Miles Bridges. I like Monk. I like all their lineup right now. Now, what happens with Kemba is the next question. You know, what's up with Kemba? Where does he go? And that's the toughest question for him. Number 13, Miami. Again, there's a lot of holes to fill from a defensive perspective. You always add on to that. Their team is pretty strong. They just didn't fulfill their potential. They just didn't do it. So Miami has a lot of options here. Boston, you know, again, they're also loaded, but they're going to be losing a lot of guys, either Terry Rozier or Kyrie Irving, based upon Kevin Rozier's interview this morning. I think Boston definitely, you know, needs to look at solidifying their backup point guard. So if Terry Rozier is a starter, who's backing up? Because I think Marcus Smart leaves too. They have him going to the Pelicans. So interesting play. It's running up pretty good. New Orleans, congratulations, but how can you work this lineup? Can you keep them all? I would. Zion's cheap right now. 3-year rookie contract. Add a guard. Add a strong guard. Rubio, Rose, a pass-first guard so he can be running up and down. You got Davis. You got Julius Randle. I would keep those. I would keep that core. Okafor, Davis, Randle, and Zion. I know people are saying Negami. Then you got Stanley Johnson. Really nice nucleus. Drew Holiday. Pretty good and athletic. They can add some nice pieces here and really make a strong showing for themselves. As we foot on down, there's several other teams, right? Detroit at 15, Orlando at 16, Brooklyn at 17, Indiana at 18. I don't like getting to the weeds, right? So top 14 is probably where we stop at, and Boston's right there, so they have an opportunity. Anyhow, that's how the draft lays out. New Orleans with number 1, Memphis with number 2, New York with number 3. Sorry, New York guys. But you get the best player that actually has a position in R.J. Barrett if he's available. Or you get John Moran as a trading piece so you can make some moves. Off Work Sports, I'm headed out. Oh, hold on. Maybe New Orleans draft Zion. New York draft, and they would have to get Ja, right? Then make the trade for Ja for Anthony Davis, and you got those two paired together. Be interesting if you want to do that. However, I think there's guards you can get in the G League as well as free agent guards that can easily fit in and help this Pelicans team contend for a championship. So off work, a little recap of the draft. My thoughts. Hey, sorry Knicks. Congratulations, LA Lakers. Cleveland, wow, bad slot. Off work, I'm out.